Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening on a Friday. Hey, baby, how's it going?
Super, how are you?
Really good. I got a study here that you're going to like.
Okay.
According to a new study, among adults are getting worse at procrastinating. They think. They haven't really gotten around to doing the study yet. They're working on it. They say adults are procrastinating more now than ever before. I feel as though, for me, it really depends on what it is. My priorities are so messed up. If I have something that I think is going to be fun, I work on that right away, even if it's not important at all. I mean, we were dinking around on Facebook, and, the other day our son had a photo that he had taken, and it was a silly photo, and I was going to go in and doctor it up. Anyway, he posted a photo. I spent like 5 minutes on Photoshop messing around with this photo. I didn't procrastinate on that. Yet look at this pile of work I have sitting right over here.
I know.
So I think I might fit into this study, even though they didn't ask me. Do you feel like you procrastinate now?
I definitely do sometimes. Yeah, it depends on what it is.
Well, I would put a list.
Laundry. I've had a load of dry clothes in the dryer for about 4 days now.
I helped you out the other day. I went in. I needed to get something out of there.
You fluffed it all
so
up. I heard that.
Hit start and let it tumble for a while.
I heard that.
And then I was running late. I was going to pull it all out of there and fold it. I pulled out what I needed and pushed start again. I was like, well, maybe she'll get those out. Why do we even have a dresser? We could just leave all of our clothes in the dryer. It's like a dresser it has a warming thing in it, and nice and toasty warm. Coming up in a bit, we got some more research that we're going to talk about, and the best-selling novel in the history of the world. Going to talk about that today. It's interesting. It's all on the way. Thanks for listening on a Friday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVWheelator.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Stanford researchers report that people who wear pedometers, you know what those are, right?
Yeah.
What is that?
It measures your steps.
So it counts how many steps
Yeah.
So I want to make sure we all know what a pedometer is, because I wasn't particularly certain that I knew. I thought I knew.
Okay.
So what does it do again? A pedometer does
It measures your steps.
So
the number
it
of steps
counts?
you take in a day.
Well,
Yeah.
then this doesn't make any sense. Stanford researchers report that people who wear pedometers walk 2,000 more steps per day than people who don't wear pedometers. How would they know? If I'm not wearing a pedometer, how do they know how many steps that I have? They say that you walk more if you wear one?
You do, because you're aware that something is keeping track of how much movement you have. So you do actually move, because by the end of the day you look like, I took 6 steps today. I might need to do something about that.
So
you're more apt to be aware and to move around a lot more. So yeah, I would agree with that.
they say 2,000 more steps, but what they really mean is we think that you might walk more.
You take a lot more steps.
Because if they strap...
But I do notice, because I've worn one before, and I do notice I move a lot more when I have one on.
When did you wear a pedometer?
When we worked at our other radio station, I would wear one once in a while to work. Mm-hmm.
Where is this pedometer?
I don't know what happened to
I've
it.
never even seen it. We've been married this whole time. You've been hiding out at this pedometer? You've been keeping this from me?
It's just a little bracelet thing, kind of like your Fitbit.
It's a bracelet?
Yeah, or an anklet, or, yeah. What?
I just don't ever remember seeing you wear an anklet or a bracelet. Where did you wear it? On your ankle or on your wrist?
It was on my wrist.
Right or left?
Why?
I don't know. I just don't ever remember seeing it. I kind of think you're making this story up. She never wore a pedometer.
Oh my God.
You're just pretending to be cool. All right, coming up in a bit, we're going to talk about the Holy Bible, the graphic novel. What? Yeah, it's an interesting story. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
A Japanese author has created a heavily abridged version of the Bible. The Bible is the best-selling book of all time. Mm-hmm. There's no book on earth that has sold as many copies as the Holy Bible. Well, this Bible is graphic novel styled. It's called the Manga Bible. It's been out a little while now, like a month and a half. The work was recently published in the United States with the goal of making Jesus more accessible to a younger, religion-indifferent generation. Along with the illustrations, the Manga Bible uses, I don't know if I'm saying that right, M-A-N-G-A? Is that how you'd say that? Manga?
I suppose.
Anyway, it uses contemporary dialogue and action scenes. In one example, Noah is seen taking census on the ark and says that 11,344 animals. Arg, I've lost count again. I'm going to have to start from scratch.
Oh, my.
So that's what he says in there. I don't remember that in Genesis.
I would not read this.
I think it'd be interesting just to see what it is. I have a book, and I feel terrible because I've not yet read it. Is it over here? It's out in the other room. Oh, it's right here. It's called The Story. And it's the Bible, but it's put together in a different way. Instead of all of the different books being individual, they took it and compiled it where you're reading the story as it happened, and then it shows you where it came from in the Bible. And I'm really looking forward to reading it. I haven't done it yet because, like I mentioned earlier in the program, I've been procrastinating. So one of these days.
I will say it is hard for me to read the Bible, so maybe that would be a better option.
There you go. Well, when I get
novel.
When I get done with this, I'll let you know if this is a good thing or not. Coming up, we've got a story about our new program that we do, Your Brain on Drugs. And I don't know if this really counts as a drug, but I might be stretching on this one. But we got it on the way.
This is John Stossel. Anything that makes it harder for you to speak limits your life. So if you or someone you know stutters, you can call the Stuttering Foundation for help. 800-992-9392.
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Heidi, this is Your Brain, and this is Your Brain on Drugs.
All right.
All right, here we go. Police surrounded a stolen car. Finally, the guy ran out of gas. They were chasing this dude down. He was in Westboro, Massachusetts. Ran out of gas on his little police chase when the driver, Ronald D. Raymond, asked them, "Can you guys hold on a minute?" And then he finished his beer.
Ah.
Yeah, he was on a police chase.
Yikes.
They were arresting him. He said, "Just wait 1 minute here. I want to finish my beer." So that doesn't quite count as drugs, but use your brain on something. That's pretty gutsy right there.
Some people, I'm never too terribly surprised by what we hear about because there's so many.
People that just do interesting things. We'll put it that way. Coming up here in a bit, we're going to talk about some people who might be self-conscious, and it has to do with your ears. I can't wait to ask Heidi about this because I know that she's gonna relate. We've had the conversation. But that is on the way on the John and Heidi Show for a Friday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVRealtor.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
I absolutely love you, and I love your ears, but we've had conversations where you say you don't like your ears.
I don't like my ears.
What don't you like about your ears?
They're huge.
They are not.
They're huge.
They are not huge. They're just the right size. They're perfect. Leave your ears alone.
I don't think there's an ear surgery. I can't have ear plastic surgery done.
She looked great. She had an ear job over the weekend. Well, people that have ears that stick out might feel more self-conscious about how people perceive them. According to a new study, Canon Hospital in Switzerland, while strangers do notice the ears, they don't make negative personality judgments based on them. So they're saying that you got nothing to worry about. Nobody else is noticing your ears. It's just you. So, Heidi, I have some scientific proof now that it's all in your head. Well, it's on the sides of your head, but it's nothing that anybody else is even noticing.
As I got older, I started to grow into my ears a little bit, so they don't bother me as much now as they did like when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I looked like Dumbo.
You did not. I've seen photos.
It was ridiculous. It was
I have
awful.
seen photos of you.
And then my mom would put these tiny little earrings on my giant ears, look like a pimple on an elephant's. I'm walking around with these giant ears and these tiny earrings.
We're done. It's all
my
over.
Feet and my nose that bother me now
Would
that
you
I'm
just
older.
stop? I'm perfect, other than my feet, my nose, my ears, and whatever this mole is I have going over here. Whatever that is. Other than that, I am perfect. You know what? You are the way you are, and I love you exactly the way you are. Your ears, your nose, your toes, and all, everything, just the way you are.
Thank you.
You're perfect. I love you inside and out. Nothing you can do to change that.
All right.
All right, coming up here in a minute, we've got our scoop of the day. That is on the way on a Friday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Time now for the scoop of the day, brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Why do they call it the Dollar Shave Club? Because you can buy razors for $1, and then it's $2 for shipping. So for $3, they will deliver them right to your medicine cabinet. I think they actually bring them to your mailbox, but they'll bring them right to you. If you'd like to know more and learn the story about why this is an awesome thing, check out dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, your scoop of the day. Teenagers are smoking, Heidi. This is nothing new, but here's what they're smoking. Coffee. What? Yeah, they're smoking coffee rather than drinking it, and then they post videos online. The only problem, it seems unsafe. Users are reporting hallucinations and vomiting and dizziness and trouble breathing. One Reddit user, whatever that is, puffed coffee a couple years back and said it's a stupid idea of the week. So don't do that, kids. They're having problems with it because you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to drink it like mom and dad do.
Wow.
All right. Scientists are discussing the idea of creating a space elevator. I believe we talked about this a couple months ago. It would be a huge cable. On one end, it would be attached to the Earth. On the other end, it would be attached to a satellite that rotates around the Earth. Cargo and astronauts could ride up the cable into outer space. And unbelievably, as funny as this sounds, it would actually be cheaper and safer than what we're doing now, shooting rockets into outer space. So they're saying what they could do is attach a giant, basically it'd be like a space station, and they'd have an elevator going from here to the space station.
But they'd always only be able to go to the same place.
Well, once you get there, you go wherever you want to go. So that would get them into outer
how
space.
How would they get around once they got up there?
Sure, they would.
In an elevator.
They'd probably have a rental car up there somewhere.
Magic school bus?
No. They would have...
Parked on the moon?
They would have pods attached to that. So once you got up there, then you'd travel, leisurely around outer space.
But they still got to launch just like a rocket, right? I mean, you can't just...
They'd put everything up in outer space, and then they'd ride down on the cable. And then when you get done, you'd go back up. I'm just imagining, like a fireman's pole sliding down. Yee! For a long time.
I really doubt that this is going to work. But
they're saying it's going to revolutionize space travel, and then, everybody could go to outer space. Like, that's a good idea. All right. What's that beverage in your hand, Heidi? A Gallup poll says 48% of you drink soda. Half of Americans drink soda, at least one a day. 20% drink 2 a day. How many do you drink?
I don't drink soda every day. I drink more, like if we go to a restaurant, because...
Yeah, readily available.
It's readily available, and there's usually free refills on soda, and then I end up drinking way too much.
Here's my problem. I'll order a milk at a restaurant, and then my wife will stab me with a fork. She's like, you know how expensive that is here?
Milk is expensive at a restaurant.
You don't get free refills. I'm like, oh, sorry. No, it's like, I'll have a water. Can I have water? Is it okay if I get water?
Yes, you can have water.
All right. Hey, we just talked about outer space. Outer space may be soundless, but apparently it's not odorless. According to a 2009 interview with NASA astronaut Kevin Ford, he did some spacewalks, and he said space has a metallic odor. He described it as having the aroma of seared steak, hot metal, and welding fumes. There you go.
Wow.
That's what it smells like in space. And our strange law for today to wind up our week here. In Maine, all Christmas decorations must be down by January 14th, or you could receive a fine of $50. January 14th.
Actually, I think that is a good law.
I remember one year.
You keep our stuff up until right before the very next Christmas.
I didn't intend to. I put up some Christmas lights one year, and they were white lights on white trim.
This is why I don't let you decorate outside anymore.
They were white lights on white trim. You couldn't even see them.
I could see them. And
you could see them.
Driving me crazy.
You could see them if I turned them on, and I kept them on till like June. But I didn't really do that. But I put them up. I was like, I'm going to see if I can just put them up and leave them up. And she kept saying,
that is one stupid law that I agree with. I think that is fantastic.
Yeah.
It should be that way.
Well, I never said stupid law.
Makes the whole neighborhood look
strange law.
Awful.
Hey, get it right. I don't call them stupid laws because some of these are like this. It's a sound law.
That is a sound law.
But it is a strange law, and that's what we talk about here on our Scoop of the Day, brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. If you would like to get razors delivered to your door, be sure to get a hold of the folks there. Best way to do it, go to dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
You know how long it's been since we've had a guest at this time? It's been a while.
It has been a while.
I've got some guests coming up here in the next week or two, so we'll be back to some guests here in a bit. But look at my notes here for the program. What does it say? Guest. Yeah, I don't have a guest. My guest is Heidi Small. How are you, Heidi?
I'm super. Thank you
Good.
for asking.
What would you like to talk about today?
I don't care.
How about this? University Hospitals Coventry, whatever that is, recently sent Ronald Cooksey a letter informing him that he is a non-emergency patient and comforting him with the news that his chances for surviving his surgery is good. There's a difference between patients like you who are on our waiting list for elective surgery and emergency patients who need to have surgery in a hurry because their condition could become unstable or life-threatening. In the letter explained, yes, it is undeniably true that there is a difference between Ronald Cooksey and other patients. Here's one of the differences. Ronald Cooksey is dead. He died from his, non-emergency condition about a year before they sent him the letter. So they sent him a letter saying, the thing you're suffering from really is not an emergency.
That's like salt in the wound for the family, isn't it?
Yeah. So it should come as no surprise that his letter, the family got the letter, and they're not too thrilled about that. They actually reached out to a lawyer. So that's probably not a bad plan.
I probably would have too. That's awful.
Doctors saying that the thing you're suffering from really isn't that bad, other than the fact that it killed you a year ago. That's just kind of weird.
Wow.
All right. Thanks for listening on a Friday. We're really glad you're here. It's much better than Ronald Cooksey. That's not good. We do have the John and Heidi Show on Monday through Friday, and we appreciate you joining us. We'll be back on Monday, but we got more of the show today. I just want to make sure that you know that you got a couple days off. You need to come back here on Monday, too. Get some good stuff. We got your... What? We always just wait till the end of the show to say that.
Premature ending. Just like always.
All right. Thanks for listening. Talk to you Monday and again next hour.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVRealtor.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Today's a very special day, Heidi. You know what today is?
What is today, John?
Today is Friday, the 29th day of May. This is our final day of May on the radio. Because on Monday it'll be the 1st of June.
Can you believe it's June?
How did that happen?
Oh,
I have a sister with a birthday next Tuesday. Remind me to call her. Happy birthday, Julie.
I will remind you.
Hey, today is National Bats Day. And I don't know if it's like the squeak, squeak, flying around in your hair bat or like a baseball bat. Bats. But it's also National Hug Your Cat Day.
I don't
have
a cat.
Why do bats and cats share the same day? Today is also Learn About Composting Day. Hard for me to say for some reason. So you want to learn about that. Also, International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers. No wonder
They've done a bang-up job so far.
Here's the thing. They can't get anything done because they only work one day a year, apparently.
Yeah.
So they're working on it today, and then tomorrow back to no peace. And today is Put a Pillow on Your Fridge Day.
Why?
I don't know. But that's what it is today.
Huh.
So if you have the time and the means to do so, because, I know not everybody can do this, but if you have the means, I encourage you to put a pillow on your fridge today. Not in your fridge. Everybody can do that. But not everybody can reach up to the top. Put the pillow on the fridge. That is the difference, Heidi.
That's so stupid.
It is indeed. I'm not making this up. This is what it is. So go out and celebrate however you want to. Hug your cat while putting a pillow on your fridge. And don't get those mixed up and put a cat in the fridge. That's a really bad idea. I think that's tomorrow, I'm not sure. Coming up in a moment, we've got a fun story that we're going to share. Where is my stuff is so messed up here. Oh, we're going to talk about this one right here. A guy that was working on a robbery and kind of get a little bit of surprise in the midst of this robbery. We're going to chat about that on the way.
Hi, it's Jewel.
And Kelly Pickler.
Lung cancer is the #1 cancer killer of women.
So we've joined the American Lung Association's Lung Force.
Because it's going to take a force of women to create new hope.
Please join us.
Fight lung cancer in women at lungforce.org.
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
If it seems like I'm a little distracted during today's program, it's because I've got pages laying everywhere. I don't know. For halfway through the show, I thought we were done. I was like, oh, wait, I guess I got to have more stuff over here. So I'm working on getting through all of this, but I'm really glad it's Friday. I'm going to take a couple days off. But when you're committing a robbery, which I don't encourage, by the way, the element of surprise always comes in handy. Unfortunately, this was news to Michigan's Casey Allen and David Connell. The duo went into a gas station and warned the cashier, that they were going to come back with guns to rob the place. They even gave her a detailed plan of the crime. They included cutting her in for a pile of the action if she cooperated. So they're saying, hey, we're going to give you some of this dough. You just let us do it. The cashier cooperated all right, but not with them. She called the police, and when the robbers returned, as promised, they were arrested very, very easily. So, good cashier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good for you. Coming up, we're going to head to Malawi for an interesting story. That is on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This is John Stossel. Anything that makes it harder for you to speak limits your life. So if you or someone you know stutters, you can call the Stuttering Foundation for help. 800-992-9392.
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Have you ever been to Malawi?
I don't even know where that is.
I ask you that all the time, don't I? Malawi.
No, you've never asked me that.
I don't even know where Malawi is either. But in Malawi...
It sounds like maybe it's in Hawaii. Doesn't that sound like a Hawaiian kind of a name?
Yeah, but I don't think it's there. In Malawi, notorious criminal Watikala Soko was released from prison after serving 6 years for burglary. A few days later, Soko broke back into prison and stole 2 rifles and 3 pairs of handcuffs and a police communications radio. He was eventually captured again and will likely return to his familiar prison cell on new burglary charges for robbing a prison.
What an idiot.
Yeah, why would you go there?
Well, he knew where it was. He had been in there for 6 years, so he knew right where everything he wanted was
Very
at.
familiar with the surroundings, apparently. And now, good news is he gets to go back and hang out there some more.
But if he was able to break in and break out, why didn't he just break out to begin with?
I don't know. He was released the first time.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But if he could get back in and get back out undetected, why didn't he just get out?
I have no idea.
When he was in prison the first time.
We'll have to go to Malawi and find out. I've never been there, so.
But then when you said his name, it sounded more of an Asian name than a Hawaiian name, so it must be somewhere in the...
I have no idea. You know, it is possible that he could live anywhere on the planet, no matter where he's from. So.
But with a name like Malawi... That's not anywhere on the... It's not like that's in South Dakota or something.
Malawi. I'm going to Google it now. All right. We'll be back in a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVRealtor.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Thank you so much for listening on a Friday. A little bit ago, we had a story from Malawi. I did Google it, Heidi. It is in Africa.
Yeah, I did not see that come. That doesn't sound like an African name to me.
Republic of Malawi.
And what was the guy's name again?
Oh, that's over here. His name was Witala Soko.
Yeah, that doesn't sound...
I don't know why it doesn't.
I don't know. I'm just confused, I guess.
I'm going to give you as much room as you need here, Heidi.
It doesn't sound like it's from that part of the world, but...
That's what his name should be. Fred or Charlie? Or how about Alvin? 25-year-old Alvin Gist robbed the first American check-cashing store in Louisville, Kentucky. Unfortunately, Gist didn't get the gist of what he was doing because he robbed the same check-cashing store where he is a regular customer.
Oh, wow.
And of course they recognized him. When police paid a visit to his apartment, they found the money and the clothes he was wearing during the robbery. So he was busted pretty quickly.
He should have worn a mask or something.
Yeah, I don't know. You walk in and say, hey, guys. Hey, Alvin, how's it going? Yeah, I'd like some money. Sign up right over here. No, I got this gun. I just want the money. Oh, okay. Well, I guess just take it then. Yeah, that didn't go so hot. Coming up here, we got a story that we're going to share. I don't know what it is because I have stuff laying everywhere, and I'll dig around and find something good. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Got another study for you, Heidi.
Alrighty.
We always love the studies. A study from the Brigham Young University showed that people are fairer and more generous when they are in clean-smelling environments. So if it stinks, you're not necessarily as fair. Participants engaged in 2 psychological experiments. Some worked in unscented rooms, and others worked in rooms freshly sprayed with citrus-scented Windex. I didn't know there was such a
Why
thing.
on earth would we need a study like this?
To know what kind of environment we need in our place to be more fair.
Well,
and
wouldn't
both
everybody prefer to be in a nice, clean-smelling environment?
Maybe.
So why
And-
not just have all environments nice, clean-smelling environments, and then you don't have to worry about people being jerks?
Well, how about we just read this and find out what they found? In both tests, the study found that the clean, scented areas led to more ethical behavior. It could even be that getting our kids to clean their rooms might help them clean up their act as well. So if your kids have a messy room, they might have a messy attitude. So
I
they're
agree.
saying clean it up. So if you need that advice, or if you need this, the proof of this, it's the Brigham Young University that did the study. And they're saying that clean up your act and you're going to have a cleaner everything.
I'm saying they didn't need a study for that. That's common sense.
Common sense ain't so common these days.
Gosh.
Hey, in Britain, a sign was posted along the A14 motorway near Cambridge, warning drivers that thieves were in the area. Unfortunately, after being up for about an hour and a half, the sign was stolen. I think that's really funny. There are thieves in this area. Somebody stopped and stole it. And we need a new sign. They should have put another sign under it just in case. Coming up here in a bit, we're going to be talking about staycations because, we got this summer thing now that we're kind of in full swing. Going to talk about places to go for staycations. It's an interesting little read. That's on the way.
Hi, it's Jewel.
And Kelly Pickler.
Lung cancer is the #1 cancer killer of women
So we've joined the American Lung Association's Lung Force.
because it's going to take a force of women to create new hope.
Please join us.
Fight lung cancer in women at lungforce.org.
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Almost time to say goodbye, but before we go, I want to share this with you. It says here, 81% of Americans plan to make a summer vacation of some kind this year. Others don't get to do that. For consumers planning to travel, have a good time, and have a whole lot of fun. But for those of you that don't get to go somewhere, you can still go somewhere and have a staycation. According to WalletHub.com, they did a study of the 2015's best and worst cities for a staycation.
All right.
And it's confusing because some of these make tons of sense and some of these don't make any sense at all.
Well, it's only a staycation if you're staying home, right?
So
So you'd have to live in each of these communities.
And they're saying you're really fortunate if you live here because
Okay.
you can just have a staycation. You don't need to go anywhere. So where do you think is the #1 place for a staycation? If you live in this town, you are set because this is where everybody's going anyway. What do you think it is?
Maui.
Maui. No, I don't see them on the list anywhere. But Orlando, Florida.
Oh, well, yeah.
They got that big mouse thing going on down there. We're going to start at number 10, though. Number 10 is Las Vegas. If you live there, one of the best
everybody
places for a
goes to
staycation.
Vegas, yeah.
Portland, Oregon surprises me. That's on the list at
Really?
number 9. Number 8 is Tampa. Number 7 is Pittsburgh, PA. Then St. Louis. Then Boise, Idaho.
What?
Yeah, Boise, Idaho. I would not have put them at number 5, but that's where they are. Scottsdale, Arizona is number 4. Number 3, Cincinnati, Ohio. Number 2, Atlanta, Georgia. And then number 1, Orlando, Florida. These are the best places for staycations. And it says the way they came up with it were 17 key metrics. Some of the metrics in the data include the number of golf courses and tennis courts and movie theaters and bowling, and the number of spas and wellness centers, and the cost of maid services. So the things that you would need if you're saying, we're not going to go somewhere else, we're going to stay right here, and we're going to have room service.
So they're not even talking about staying in a hotel. They're talking
No.
about staying at home and letting maids clean your house because it said maid service.
I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yeah.
All this stuff. Well, some findings from their study. The New Orleans area has 67 times more museums per 1,000 residents than Aurora, Colorado. Madison, Wisconsin has 12 times more parks per 100,000 residents than Hialeah, Florida. Norfolk, Virginia has 22 times more tennis courts than Gilbert, Arizona. And this, again, is all per 100,000 residents. New Orleans has 63 times more nightlife options than Irving, Texas. Beauty salon costs in L.A. or Long Beach, California are 3 times higher than Fort Wayne, Indiana. And hiring a maid in Riverside, California is twice as expensive as it is in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Huh.
So there you go. That's what they're talking about. So for those of you looking for a staycation, and I've done this. We've done this.
We've done this.
Oh, I just banged I hit my hand on the counter.
I like to do staycations.
It's a lot of fun. And the way we've done it is we've actually stayed like at a hotel in the area. So we just go and,
we don't just stay home.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't do
That's
that.
not really a vacation.
Yeah, so we've done it where we'll go someplace where they got a pool and a hot tub and all that kind of stuff. And, just go and relax for the weekend. And it's a lot of fun. I think our kids have just as much fun with that as they do when we sit in a car and drive for 6 hours to get somewhere and do the same thing.
I can't ever remember a trip that we drove. Well, I guess when we have
several.
gone 6-hour trips.
They've jumped in the car and we drive 6 hours and, get the kids fighting all the way there. Then what do? We get in a hotel and they sit in a pool. I'm like, we could have done this at home.
Done that at home.
All right. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. And for those of you who are listening on the podcast, we got that bonus break. That's coming up in a bit. For those of you who are not listening on the podcast, we don't have the bonus break. If you're listening on the radio, we've got some more music coming up. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And now, the world-famous bonus break on the John and Heidi Show podcast. And Heidi, you get to choose. You're going to steer the direction of this bonus break. Would you rather have a guide for college freshmen or reasons why marriages fail?
Reasons why marriages fail.
All right, I'll set that one aside for later, and we'll start right here. No matter how much you love each other, your marriage could be doomed to fail by mundane little factors. Things like your age, previous relationships, your parents, or even a nasty habit of smoking or some other little habit. According to a study by What's Love Got to Do with It? That's the study. It doesn't say to sing it. I just thought I had to. These identifying factors are most likely to sever relationships. I've got the top 8 reasons. Are you ready for these?
Ready.
All right. When a man is 9 or more years older than his wife, you are twice as likely to get divorced compared with couples who are closer in age.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
It's a big generational thing.
Yeah.
All right. When men who marry before the age of 25 are twice as likely to get divorced than men who marry at an older age.
Okay.
25% of couples who have children before they marry, either from the same relationship or from a previous relationship, get divorced or separated compared to those, compared to those 9% of couples who wait to have kids till after they're married. The number of children a couple have after they're married does not affect the rate of divorce. So you can keep having kids all you want. It's not going to fix things. Couples are more likely to divorce if the woman wants to have children much more than her husband. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. 16% of couples whose partners ever separated or divorced experience marital separations themselves, compared with 10% of those whose parents did not separate or divorce. So if your parents get separated, then you have a separation issues too. When one of the partners in his or her second or third marriage, what in the world? This is getting confusing. Let me try this again. When one of the partners is in his or her second or third marriage, the couple is 90% more likely to separate or divorce than couples who are both on their first marriage. 16% of couples who identify themselves as poor or where the husband is unemployed ended up separating or divorcing, compared with only 9% of the couples who reported healthy finances. The wife's employment status does not affect the stability of the marriage, but the husband's does. That's interesting. And when one, but not the other, partner smokes, the marriage is far more likely to end in failure than it is for couples where either both smoke or neither smoke.
I could see that.
So if one does and one doesn't, bad deal. If they both do or both don't, then you're okay.
Yeah.
These are just a few of the reasons why marriages fail from a new study called What's Love Got to Do with It? Huh. Did you learn something, Heidi?
No.
Do you feel that was worth your time hanging out for this extra minute in the bonus break?
Not really, no, but that's all right.
Do you have something to make this bonus break worthwhile?
I've got a joke.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
2 men visit a prostitute.
Oh, boy.
The first man goes into the bedroom. He comes out 10 minutes later and he says, "That was awful. My wife is better than that." The second man goes in. He comes out 10 minutes later. He says, "Yeah, you're right. Your wife is better than that."
Where do you find these jokes? Is this like naughtyjokes.com or something? I have no idea why in the world I even give that to you. Every single time. I wish that I hadn't. All right, I'm going to do something here because we're not ending on that. What if your teacher asked you to cut your hair in the middle of class because he didn't like you? Would you do it?
No.
What if he threatened that you have to, or you're going to have to take your midterms over again if you don't cut your hair? That's what happened. True story. Teacher has been chastised by a human rights group for humiliating his students by making them cut their wild hairstyles. The conservative teacher handed out scissors to male students and told them to shear off their freaky hair right now. And this was in the middle of their end-of-year exams. The students did so, albeit reluctantly, after they were told, if you don't, you're going to have to retake the exam.
Whoa.
Start cutting now. Parents alleged that the teacher acted as the barber himself with two students who stood their ground, but the teacher denies doing that. According to one parent, it was a slight on their dignity and particularly humiliating. I would say so.
Absolutely. That's not okay.
I understand if you don't like their hair. Here's the good news. This was during the finals. They are done with your class. You won't see them anymore.
You won't see them.
Wow, that is nuts. Can you imagine? I wonder what his justification was for that.
I can't imagine that there was any justification for that.
So
that is not okay.
Not okay at all. All right, that's going to do it. Now we ended on such a happy note.
Yeah, no, see, you should have left it where I left it because that was better. Just saying.
Should I shift gears and find something else? Apparently not. I don't know what I have over here. This is the pile of all the stuff we never get to during the program. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. One of these days, we're going to do nothing but a bonus break. The entire program is going to be a bonus break.
The whole program is going to be just one giant bonus break.
It's going to be like, free-flowing, nothing but bonus break.
Nothing planned, nothing scheduled, lots of dirty jokes.
Kind of like regular programs around here. All right, thanks for listening. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.